a change occurred. A change that you were not aware of for quite some time. And during that point, I was straddled and forced to handle a very unique individual. His name happens to be Billy. Mm-hmm. And with everything that happened, William Wolf, do you remember any of that at this point?
I remember every excruciating, idiotic second of it.
So during that point, I tried my best. I tried my best to lead the way. I tried my best to teach and to help you rehabilitate. And I just became...
You tried your best. You tried your best to keep me from remembering who I am. You say that when I was fighting Douglas Andrews that you saw something in me and you wanted to make a statement. Except for when I turned into Billy, you didn't want to turn me back. And William Wolf was never a weapon for you to use. It was always how to keep William Wolf from coming to the surface. You wanted to keep me passive and you wanted to keep me stupid. When I think you made the wrong choice. What you should have been doing is trying to get William Wolf back.
Well,
because William Wolf is more violent and can wreak far more havoc than any person in your Darkness Worldwide crew.
Okay.
So, as I clearly showed as when I swept up shop of Darkness Worldwide as Billy. I made a fool out of your entire crew when I was a bumbling 12-year-old idiot.
All right, so
that's it about Darkness Worldwide.
So here. Okay. So I'll admit that there is a shred of truth to what you're saying. There is a shred of truth, and that William Wolf was always seen as a viable threat. Still is a viable threat to anyone in that locker room at Future Great Wrestling. No question about it. I mean, you're a dangerous man, Will. I've never said anything to the contrary. It's why when I stated earlier, there's no way in hell I ever would have signed a contract to face William Wolf at Origins 2. There's no way. Absolutely not. Billy, that's another story. But that just goes to show the type of man that I really am. You see, I was concerned about my clientele. I was concerned about the safety of my client, Scotty Amos. I was concerned about his career, his livelihood, because I knew that if you were to regain your senses, and I knew you would eventually remember, we were just trying to ease you into, your health. Take time with that. Didn't want to rush it. So we knew that, it was in everyone's best interest that you have a nice slow recovery, and in the meantime, think about all the incredible entertainment that was provided to the FGW fans. They absolutely loved Billy. As a matter of fact, they may have loved Billy more than they loved William Wolf. How does that make you feel, Will?
How does that make me feel? Well, I remember my first night as Billy and how before the show even began, the entire FGW crowd, what were they chanting, David?
They were chanting, "We want Billy."
We want Billy. Over and over and over again between every single match. And I went out there and I made an ass of myself for 4 or 5 months. But they loved it. And what I remember having a blast, maybe more fun than I've ever had before. When you're able to let go and let your inner child out, I think that anybody can have a little fun. But that's not who I am. And it's a little disappointing to me that that's what that crowd wanted. Instead of the real me, they wanted your Frankenstein's monster that you made.
Hey, now I helped take care of Billy. I'm not taking responsibility for creating Billy. Now there is a certain amount of thank yous that the FGW faithful should bestow upon yours truly, David Barnabas Spector, because if it was not for me, yes, there is a certain shred of truth that all of that amazing entertainment, the joy that filled their hearts every time they saw Billy at the arena or in, pre-recorded videos, part of that, I'll admit, yes, it was, I'm responsible for giving him that joy, but I didn't create Frankenstein's monster. No. I mean, I always valued William Wolfe. Billy, I tried to have logic and reason with, but he just wouldn't listen. I would try to teach him the ways of Darkness Worldwide, and he kept refusing to adhere to the things that I was trying to explain and tell him. And then eventually, somehow, some way, Billy was rewarded by the people with his People's Championship. This ridiculous cardboard belt.
The People's Champions. They made me a belt that, first of all, they made me one belt that you and I had a match for because you just needed to be the People's Champion for some reason. I don't know what that says about your psyche, that you needed to win a made-up belt. But they bestowed upon me a belt. You won it. A few weeks later, you and I had a rematch, in which I won. And then, what'd you do, David? What'd you do to that belt?
Well, now, hold on. Now we're going through this a little quickly. So here's the thing. I never cared about that title. The only reason why I wanted to win that title was to teach Billy a lesson in humility, because he just simply wouldn't listen. And then with the rematch, when Billy regained the People's Championship, how did Billy win? He cheated! That's the only way that he would have won. But you know what?
He pulled the dice.
He did. And that's true. I was about to say that I actually thought that I was making some headway and thought that I was finally getting through to Billy. And what did I do with the People's Championship? Again, everything is a lesson, a learning lesson, William Wolfe, and Billy had more lessons to learn in your recovery to getting back to being William Wolfe. So, I had to take matters into my own hands and teach another lesson to Billy. And that lesson involved me completely destroying that stupid belt. So
after you destroyed it, the very next week, those fans had another belt just for me, didn't they? And this one's and it light up, and it had holsters for my juice boxes. That belt was dope as hell, and it's still sitting in my space in the locker room at FGW.
But here,
it sits there as a reminder to me about you.
Well, and so they made Billy another belt. But how many belts have they made for William Wolfe?
Yeah. No, they don't make belts for William Wolfe. They just like to see him jump off of stuff and get hit in the head with things and bleed.
Yes, and
that's what they want out of William Wolfe. And you know what? I'm more than happy to provide that service because, like I said before, I just love kicking ass.
All right, so
if they want to see me jump off of things and they want to see me get hit in the head with things and they want to see me bleed, then I'm happy to do it.
But realistically, William Wolfe, should you have to go to that extent to gain the love and adoration of the FGW faithful? Couldn't they just respect your in-ring ability? Why should you have to be pushed to the point of having to do such outrageous, over-the-top things to gain their acceptance? I mean, I'm just saying, Will, that's, I respect you as a man and as a performer. And that's a shoot. I do. You know, there's creatively, you have a unique creative mind. And yes, you did hand me my ass at Origins 2. I'm not going to deny that. And that's all the more reason why I say that I don't hate you. I don't even dislike you. If I did, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I actually have a great deal of respect for you. I just question if the FGW faithful has that same level of respect. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's something I'm going to have to think about.
Precisely. So, you know, obviously with everything that happened, the collision course, some things happened with Darkness Worldwide that I wasn't anticipating. Involving Ripper Blackheart, who we mentioned earlier, and obviously involving Shauna Reed. Things that I was not anticipating by any stretch of the imagination. Things that if I hadn't had focused my time, effort, and energy on that imbecile, that miscreant, that moronic goof, Billy, I could have addressed things a little better. But I will say this to you, William Wolf. I don't say this very often to anyone, because I try to live a life of no regrets. But I will say this to you. I apologize.
Oh, you apologize?
I apologize that out of my frustration with everything that happened with Darkness Worldwide, especially due to Ripper Blackheart's great master plan that nearly destroyed Shauna Reed and Cody Hawk's relationship. And because of Shauna Reed, I took my anger and resentment, and instead of placing it where it belonged, I placed it on Billy. Even though it was a little bit his fault, because, again, I was wasting my time toiling with his nonsense and not paying attention to things as closely as I should have, but I apologize. It was incorrect for me to put all the blame on Billy as I did. So there you have it.
No, most of the blame should be on your leadership, I think.
What's up?
I said I think most of the blame should be on your leadership capabilities. You couldn't keep your crew together. Who left first?
Listen. Well, I don't want to allow our civil conversation to deteriorate. So we can talk at least about our match at Origins 2.
Sure.
You see, I'm an advisor. I'm a conductor, a producer. I'm not an in-ring active competitor. Mm-hmm. But on that particular occasion, that's exactly what I became. And I tried my best to get myself into as good a physical shape as I could possibly be in. Because even though I was getting in the ring with somebody that I absolutely owned mentally, I knew that there was the element of the unpredictable with Billy. Anything could happen with Billy. As was showcased in the match, because a whole lot of things that I never would have anticipated took place. And I will say that if it was simply a matter of a match between myself and Billy, I think we already saw where that was going. I had won the first fall. I was about to win the second fall. Even though I was forced to not just wrestle Billy, but also I had to wrestle senior referee Joe Copaz.
And he kicked your ass.
Listen. Joe Copaz did not kick my ass. He is nothing but he is the They say Ric Flair is the dirtiest player in the game. That is an absolute lie, because the dirtiest player in the game, no question, is Joe Copaz. Hands down. So I was forced to get in there and tussle with Joe Copaz before I even got to Billy. Still, miraculously,